273. 273 days have gone by since I dropped out of this business school. Since then, I've had hundreds or even thousands of powerful conversations. And thanks to this, at 21 years old, I'm now running a 7-figure business with some of my best friends. We travel the world full time, meet people every day, and what I like about everything else, we live the life in our own terms. 273 days have gone by since I dropped out of this college, but don't worry, I'm not here tonight to criticize school. I will share with you some insights on why I deeply believe that conversation can tremendously impact your life in a positive way, and that you might be one conversation away from living the life of your dreams. It all started with one conversation. When I was a teenager, between 12 and 18 years old, I had lots of acne. And my face looked like a strawberry of pimples. Even though it's really funny now, back then it was not. I do not have many pictures of my face at the time because I hated my face. And I also did not have many girlfriends because, acne is something that really kills your self-confidence. How many of you have had acne when you were younger? Please raise your hand if you had. As you see, it's above the half. And according to some research led by INSEE, 70% of French teenagers have acne. I went to see many doctors and dermatologists, and during 6 years, they gave me some pills, some cream. They told me that it was normal, that it will pass as I grow, and that I just have to deal with it. For 6 years, none of them worked for me, all the pills, all the cream. And at age 18, I got diagnosed severe acne by my doctor and my dermatologist. They said that I should take the all medical treatment, and that I would then need to do laser to remove the marks on my face. My mother shouted when she read the side effect of that treatment, and there was no way she was going to let me take it. So I was left wondering how much longer I was going to live with this strawberry of pimples. And back in these days, I was training 9 times a week for rowing championships, just like my friend Alexa. And because of that, I often had back pain, and I was regularly seeing an osteopath for that. And one day, my osteopath was on holiday, so I went to see another one, Mr. Og. And I remember that first conversation with Mr. Og. He sat down, stared at me, looked at my face, and he asked me this question: do you eat lots of lactose products? I said, you mean yogurt, milk, cheese? Yes, of course, I'm French. But he wasn't laughing. And he very quietly said, you have lots of acne. Yeah, I know. And he said, there is a high chance that it's related to your consumption of dairy products. So I started to listen carefully because, he was talking about a very sensible subject for me. And he told me that if I stopped eating every product containing lactose, then after a few months, my acne could clear up. So I did what he said. I stopped eating every product containing lactose, including biscuits, ice cream, cheese, pastry. Imagine how tough it is for a French person to stop eating croissant. But I did it. And guess what? After 3 months, everything disappeared, even most of the marks. I was so relieved and so grateful to have had this conversation with Mr. Og. And even now, when I eat dairy products, acne follows soon after. I actually recently mentioned that to my doctor. He told me that no, Andy, there is absolutely no link between dairy products and acne. You know why he told me that? He told me that because he never learned it at school. Nobody ever gave him this information. So for him, it's impossible. Long story short, I came to this osteopath to fix my back pain, and I learned the solution to my biggest teenager issue: acne. But there is something much more important that I learned that day. Something that would impact my entire life. Between croissant and girls, I would have to choose. No, seriously. after I got rid of my acne, I realized how impactful these advices from Mr. Og were for my life. And that brought me to the conclusion that learning through conversation is actually another way of learning and a good way of learning. So I questioned myself, could it be an alternative to school? Because I love to learn, but I didn't like school. And I actually found the answer during my studies. Here is another story. After I got rid of my acne in 2015, I entered in preparatory. It's a tough academic program in which you work 24/7 in order to access the best business school. And there I was not good at all. I was the last one of the 45 students of my classroom during the 2 years. Even though some courses were interesting, I didn't really like what I was learning there. And I would use all my free time to watch TEDx talk, YouTube videos, and read some articles on the web. And what I was learning there was so much more exciting to me. I dreamed about traveling the world, being with friends all the time, meeting new people every day, and running my own business. There I was, making studies that I didn't like, living a life that I didn't want. Have you ever felt that way, living a life that you don't like? Please raise your hand if you ever. I felt like I was a bit dumb compared to all these other students with their incredible memory. And if you would listen to some of my teachers or the director of my preparatory, my future was not going to be bright. But yet, I always kept solid self-confidence and would read every morning this quote from Albert Einstein. Yeah, I know, once again. Intelligence is not the ability to store information, but to know where to find it. And I believe that the knowledge that I needed was not in the thousands of pages of courses, but rather in the conversation I would have with people once I would leave this preparatory school. And I promised myself that once I would leave this preparatory school, I would talk to so many people that I would have no limit in my life. So I developed my own definition of serendipity. For the ones of you who never heard that word, according to Wikipedia, serendipity is an unplanned, fortunate discovery. It was usually used to describe the way scientists make inventions. But I prefer my definition of serendipity. For me, serendipity is an unplanned conversation that leads to a fortunate sharing of knowledge. So after I finished the preparatory and entered that business school, I did what I planned to do, taking massive actions. I contacted many people online, many of my mentors, met some of them, went to meetings, meetups, parties, everywhere I could connect with people. And in the middle of this hundreds or even thousands of conversations I had, serendipity happened many times. I will share with you some of this conversation that I had that changed my life. After a conversation with a French entrepreneur in Bordeaux, with my friends, we had our blueprint for a successful online business. We launched it, and after 2 years of hard work, my business partner Axel and I reached financial freedom. After a conversation with an American top model in Stockholm, we started to dream much bigger as she told us, keep dreaming, because dreams always come true. After a conversation with a billionaire in London, I changed my environment, dropped out of school, moved to Bali, surrounded myself with people better than me, and improved my life in every areas more in 2 months than in the past 6 years. After a conversation with a Russian girl in Bali, I got introduced to worldwide organization of public speaking, Toastmasters. I joined it, loved it, and here I am, back in France in front of you, to share with you why I deeply believe that conversation can tremendously help you to live your dream life. So I think that after sharing with you some of this conversation I had, I think we all agree on the fact that conversation can lead you closer to your dreams. But I think we also agree on the fact that not communicating with people that we don't know can be a huge limit. But it's actually what most people do. Like, they rather stay in a social circle, try not to get out of their comfort zone. And I believe that it's mostly because of their fear of judgment. And I'm now going to explain you why I believe that and give you 2 tips that I use to overcome my fear of judgment. You know, when I had acne, I would always worry about being judged by others because of my physical appearance. And after thinking 6 years in that way, even when I get rid of my acne, I would still think about being judged by others for any other reason. And that was a huge limit for me because on one hand, I wanted to communicate with more people, but on the other hand, I was scared to be judged. And how many of you have ever been scared of being judged? Yeah, I think it's nearly everyone. It's terrible because if you think about it, it's because of the fear of judgment that we're shy, that we're nervous, that we lack balance, that we lack initiative, that we lack ambitions. It's a destructive fear. I think the most terrible one, the one that stops us from connecting with people that we don't know. Fortunately, and I hope it's the same for you, my dreams were stronger than my fear. So over the year, I developed mental tips to overcome my fear of judgment. And I'm going to give you 2 of them right now. The first one is about reframing the way you see people that you don't know. Shifting the way you see people you don't know. When you were young, your mother has probably told you to not talk to strangers, right? But let me tell you something. Your best friend was once a complete stranger. And all the people that you know were once strangers before your first conversation. So if you start to look at the people that you don't know as friends you haven't met yet, then you will be much more willing to communicate with them. Because after all, we're not scared to be judged by our friends. So that is my first tip on how to overcome the fear of judgment. Reframe the way you see people that you don't know. My second tip is about taking perspective on what is judgment. I remember this article from Scott Hansen that I read when I was in preparatory, and it says, out of all the people that you will meet, engage with, teach, impact, love, parent, etc., only 10 of them will cry at your funeral. And if it rains, half of them won't show up. Can you imagine that? There is a high chance that when we die, no one remembers a thing we did. So all your life, you limit yourself and you don't try to communicate with people you don't know just because you're scared to be judged. So now, imagine yourself on your deathbed. It's your last hours. All you have now is your memories and your regrets. And I'm pretty sure that one thing that you regret, maybe about everything else, is to not have talked with someone you really wanted to. But you're lucky. Today is not your last day. You have still your life in front of you. You have still opportunities to communicate with others. So remember, when you feel you want to communicate with someone, but you feel you're too shy or you're scared to be judged, close your eyes for a few seconds and just imagine yourself on your deathbed and how painful it would have been to not have talked to that person. That was my second tip on how to overcome the fear of judgment. Actually, tonight, before coming on stage, I applied these 2 tips. I firstly told about all of you as friends I haven't met yet. I then took perspective, closed my eyes, and imagined myself on my deathbed and how painful it would have been to not have shown up tonight to share with you this idea. But taking perspective on what is judgment and changing the way you see people that you don't know will work only with one thing. And that brings me to my conclusion. Taking perspective on what judgment is and changing the way you see people that you don't know will only work if you take action. The more you will take action, the more impact you're gonna have in your life. In 273 days, I've learned how to create a company, manage several employees, and grow it to a 7-figure business. I've traveled across 15 countries, lived in Bali, Buenos Aires, and now people always get surprised and ask me, Andy, how is it possible to live a life like this at 21 years old? I answer that my life has been shaped by the conversation I have had over the past 2 years. There's within my perspective and helped me to create my own signal of view of the world. And thanks to them and the knowledge that they share with me, I'm now living my dream life. So here is a message to my generation, the post-millennials. I feel that nowadays, and mainly because of our electronic devices, we lose real communication, and especially with the older generation. And that's a shame because we should be learning from them. So here is a message to the post-millennials. You're already connected full-time when you're at home, so I encourage you to please, when you're in public areas, disconnect from your phone and take that opportunity to communicate with someone that you don't know. Remember that we live in a world that is defined by human interaction, and don't forget that learning through conversation is one of the best ways to learn. I promise this is worth trying. You might be one conversation away from living the life of your dream. I genuinely believe that it's an idea worth spreading. Thank you for letting me share this idea.